Quit right there. Appreciate you coming. Okay, Michael.
Good afternoon. My name is Michael Cargill. I'm the owner of Central Texas Gun Works, which is a small gun store here in Austin, Texas. Gun control started back in the U.S. back in the 1800s, and it's called No Guns for Negroes, and everyone was afraid to say that, so I'll say it. You can look it up on YouTube. It's called No Guns for Negroes.
I will. I'll do that because that's really kind of news to me. I hate to say that to everybody, but I didn't realize it was kind of a Jim Crow deal.
Absolutely.
We'll look it up.
So the purpose for this was to make sure that free slaves would not have access or could not legally purchase firearms. Now, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., back in 1967, wrote a book. It's called Where Do We Go From Here? And it laminated the fact that some people had misinterpreted his call for nonviolence as a suggestion they should not protect themselves and their homes from attack. And he argued that the ideal of nonviolence should not be interpreted as a meaning that one should never use a gun in self-defense. And he pointed out that the right of self-defense is a right guaranteed through the ages by common law. Now, another famous preacher of nonviolence is Mahatma Gandhi, and he expressed a similar sentiment, and Gandhi wrote, "My nonviolence does not admit of running away from danger and leaving dear ones unprotected. Between violence and cowardly flight, I can only prefer violence to cowardice. He who cannot protect himself or his nearest or dearest or their honor by nonviolent facing death may and ought to do so by violently dealing with the oppressor." Now, even the Dalai Lama has conceded that under certain circumstances, it might make sense to defend oneself with a gun. And of course, Jesus, the original preacher of nonviolence, famously told his disciples on the night of his arrest that they would soon face persecution and violence, that if one of them did not own a sword, then he should go out and buy a sword. Now, unfortunately, we now found ourselves surrounded by politicians and activists who do not understand this need. Now, they tell us that the needs of many outweigh the individual need to protect oneself and one's family. Now, I hope you'll remember that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the quintessential preacher of nonviolence, disagreed with that sentiment. He willingly sacrificed his own life, but never suggested that you should be prohibited from defending yours. Now, let's end this chapter of racism in our American culture. My name is Michael Cargill.
Thank you, Michael. Where's your gun shop? On Ben White, huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I like gun shops. I'll come by and visit you sometime. Appreciate your testimony.